War. War never changes.
But I suppose it's one of those loaded situations, isn't it?
I heard no.
Where does the music store morally, should they not sell the instrument to the person who's come in, who clearly is only interested in that music flippantly and will probably get over it in a month and sell the instrument?
Don't you die on me!
Like, why would they do that? Then they don't make profit, then they can't like feed themselves. It's just, it's weird, isn't it? Especially when you think about it. Because everybody has the ability to do it. It's just, will they allocate the time? Are they in the right headspace to mutually approach it? Did I just get mined? That sucked. But everybody knows that guy, or I hope they do, because it's an interesting contrast, and I think life is full of contrasts, and it's the contrasts that truly make you appreciate things. But when I was at college doing design, originally I went into fine art, because I really like detailed drawing. But my idea of detailed drawing was very illustrative. It was very detailed, but it was always on kind of like a small scale. It was highly detailed, but it was never, you know, the size of an A2 canvas or an A1 or something daft. So I took fine art thinking it was going to enable me to specialise in the finer aspects of art, because I was never a painter, you know, I was never into fucking clay, I was never into that type of stuff. Textiles! If you like textiles, God bless you, because I fucking don't. The last thing I want to be doing is like wiping weird shit on like a square thing and shoving it through a press. That to me is work, and art was always about passion. But I went into this fine art thing expecting to be able to focus on what I like to do, which was essentially highly crowded scenes with extreme detail. That was my thing. And that was the last thing that were going to be willing to let me do there. Like, it was kind of obnoxious. The very first assignment we had was on a canvas the size of a small wall, and they just wanted you to go nuts with paint. And it's like, dude, I don't paint. I'm not a good painter. I like pencils and I like fine liners. I like the ability to ink, to sketch something out and then go in and add the detail, because that's the stuff I like to do. And that wasn't what that was. So it was like, I can't fucking do this. This is my final year of college and I've specialised in something that doesn't do what I specialise in. And I assumed that college would teach you things, and it didn't. It just rarefied what you had and refined it. Like, I thought they were going to tell me why I did this, or why this was done this way, and technique and all these other things, and in some ways they kind of did, but it wasn't to the amount of detail that I wanted. I wanted to understand the science of it, and they never really offered that. They just wanted to push the creative edge to it, which is perfectly fine, but at the end of the day, I just expected these epiphanies in my college life, and I didn't get them. And I think a lot of people do that. Some people get them, some people don't. It's just selective, I guess. So I ended up being in a pretty shitty situation because I'd picked to specialise, but luckily it was in the first day, and I knew by dinner time that it wasn't for me. And I was like, I don't think I can do this, dude. This is not my thing. And I showed him some of my work, and the final project of the year previous, before we went on to specialise, I'd created essentially my own comic/manga strip, and I was pretty happy with it. I wasn't completely happy with it because I don't think you can as a creative. But given the requirements of what we were doing, I think I ticked all the boxes, and I did something I enjoyed, which was highly detailed, inked strip of... It was my own Hellsing comic, which dates this quite a lot, when Hellsing was nowhere near completed at that point. But I was super into it, so I decided to just write a story with Alucard just killing a bunch of paladins, and that's what I made. And I showed him this, and he's like, ah, yeah, I see the problem, kind of deal. Because this was it was a sheet of A3, but it was just black and white, and like highly detailed, but on a much different scale to, I guess, what he was expecting. I think that's all my armour, that's correct. And he's like, oh, I know exactly where you need to be. And I said, oh, thank God, type thing. And he took me down into the graphic design area of the college, and I walked into a room, and the room it wasn't the biggest room. There was a bunch of tables at the centre with nobody on them, and then the entire outer ring of this room was just desks, wall-mounted desks covered in computers, and they were all Apples, like super fucking science fiction high-tech Apple Macs. And I had not used an Apple Mac since I was like 4, and I just looked at this room and oh my God, what the fuck have I got myself into? And then I met the teacher, who was actually, she'd been a designer before she was a teacher, so she knew what she was on about. She was just a little bit emotional, and I'm not saying that to be sexist, it's just true. She was all over the fucking place. Like, I was late for college because the bus service doesn't work right, and she tried to have me talk to a psychologist and get time off work because work was pushing me too hard and I wasn't able to focus on my art. I was working 17 hours a week in a supermarket. It was like, what the fuck is wrong with this woman? Do you think there's something wrong with me? Is this what this is? Are you projecting? I don't get it. But that's another story. But I went into this room, and it was just like, Jesus Christ. I knew a few people in it, but I didn't know too many people. So she's like, you know, just get comfortable, and here's your brief, because we did briefs, we did live work in that year for actual clients. And I got to it. And I sat at the tables, and I started drawing, while everybody else was on the computers, because I didn't know how to do it. And it was just that scary moment of, I've just done 3 pages of these illustrative designs for some concepts for whatever it was, what the brief was, while everybody else is fucking around in, like, super paint. And I had no idea what was going on. But luckily enough, 2 guys in my group who had been talking about the Killzone demo for the PS2 in like a previous day before we specialised were pretty cool, and I sat near them and we started talking and they became my friends. And hats off to those guys. They showed me so many keyboard shortcuts, so many cool things that you can do, and every time I needed to be able to do something I was like, so how can I, this is what I want to do, have you any idea how we get here? And they gave me little tips and tricks, and I just kind of put it together from there. And then I got the software at home, got to play with it a lot, started making like CD covers for my friends' bands and what have you, and had a lot of fun designing. But to get the story back on track, as we went all into the annals of my history, everybody has that one guy who knows what he's doing but isn't very good. Have you ever known that person? And it's not a judgmental thing, it's just a factual thing. In my group, there was one guy who was amazing. He was the guy who was better than the teacher. He was the dude who was always going to go on to do great things. And I ended up attending the Download Festival with him and had a really good time with him. He was a cool dude. And he's probably gone on to do amazing things, but I've not managed to keep in contact with him. But he had a friend who was the nicest guy in the world. He had the best, the best aptitude, the smartest, the guy who knew everything about Photoshop and could do anything and won all the competitions of he got picked for every brief at the end. The client always picked him because he was a fucking beast. There's me doing like upside down crucified Jesuses, essentially death metal covers that nobody wants. And he's doing these just amazingly Spartan, awesome designs that everybody wanted. And it was free money for them because they didn't have to pay us. We were fucking students. But it was absolutely amazing. So this guy has access to this genius. And everything he did was just... You know when you look at someone's work and you don't know if they're joking and you pray they're joking but they're not? It was that. And I don't want to offend him because he was a super nice guy. I love him. I had a really, really good time with this guy. He was a good friend for many, many years. But I just used to look at his stuff and I wanted to just grab him and shake him and like, what are you fucking doing, dude? This is a line drawing with primary colours. It looks like a warning sign for in a factory. to tell you how not to burn your hands. And he had the ability to do anything. And everything he did always looked like that. And I never understood it. And I always used to feel really sorry for him. That actually hurts you, that. What the fuck is that? Minus 40 life? Why would you ever use that? And I never got it. I just never understood it. Like, when we were using photos and we were compositing images, he would be like drawing weird stickmen and filling them in bold yellow or bold red. Like, it was the type of stuff you stuck on the fridge from nursery. Only we were like in our late teens and that shit doesn't fly anymore. And I just used to be like, is that kind of what you're doing, dude? And he'd tell me his thing and what he was going to do and that. And he used to say the same thing. He used to say to us, like, I hate you. Like why? Because I can't do what you do with that. Like, I designed a cover for a band called as Death Claims the Fallen, I think their name was. God, we're being irradiated. And I kind of fused a bunch of trees into this rusted metal surface, and there was a skull on it. It was all, you know, the generic, I'm young and I'm into death metal, let's make an awesome looking cover. Is he surrendering?
Get some, motherfucker!
No, he's having trouble. What is he doing? He's like Jesus mode. Jesus mode engaged. Oh shit. And like I'd post some of this artwork on MySpace, which is dating this again. And he'd leave comments like, I hate you, kind of deal. Because that's what he wanted to design like, but he couldn't. And it was just this thing of like, I'm not doing anything special here, dude. It's a couple of images that I've feathered and I've overlaid and put together and added brushes to and what have you and changed some colours and what have you. Nothing too crazy, it's just kind of what I used to do a lot back then. But he always used to do this same kind of artwork and I always used to feel so bad for him. But at the same time, art is massively subjective, so maybe to him it was amazing, you know. It was exactly what it came out looking exactly like what he wanted. And I don't know how he did at college because I don't know what grades he got, but I hope he got good grades and I hope he moved on to something, because I always kind of got the feeling that he didn't really have the gift or the passion for it. He was just kind of doing it because he didn't know what else to do. And this is one of those dudes that when he first turned up, he was all, you know, clean cut and normal kind of dude. And then the year after, he came in wearing a trench coat and those massive steel boots that are branded and expensive, that are heavy as fuck. Like, just, he went pure goth, dyed his hair black, all the job lot. Because that's what you do at college, isn't it? When you're finding yourself, or whatever. But it's just fascinating to see, you know, different... I used to like that because there were people in my art room that I didn't necessarily like them as human beings, but I respected them as artists, and they did stuff that I couldn't do. And I say I didn't really like them as human beings because I didn't know them. All I knew is that they liked to listen to Lost Prophets, and I hated Lost Prophets, and when they used to play it in the class, I'd be like, get out, you fags! Go and dance over there. And I would say fag ironically because, of course, cigarettes are bad for you.
Sure, just keep your shirt on.
But there used to be a lot of clashes in I'm going the wrong way, in college over weird, superfluous nonsense. I don't know where I'm going. This conversation's derailed me. Alright, so we're going this way. But bringing it back to even greater circles, like... You know, if you... For instance, if a guy in a wheelchair walked into, I don't know, a treadmill shop, morally, should you question his ability to use your treadmill? And of course, you've ascertained that it's not a gift, it's for him. Do you have any right to tell this poor person that maybe he might not get his money's worth? Because I don't think you can. And it stems all the way back to, you know, these ridiculous prices for things like Microsoft Word. Like, should you be able to take that kind of money off somebody who's illiterate and cannot write? What the fuck are they going to do with Microsoft Word? Except for sell it. Or use clip art to make some funky looking titles. Like, what the fuck does that guy do? All you've done is exploited somebody who couldn't read. Like, it's a very strange topic. And I think about that because I thought about that when I was a student. There was a lot of people at my university that were going to university to say they were going to university, and I think that's a terrible reason to go. That being said, I also know a lot of people who went for that reason and came out knowing what they wanted to do, which is a hell of a lot better than I fucking did. And I came out with good grades and a degree and everything, and I still don't know what I want to fucking do, because I want to do so many things, but none of them involve realism or the mundane. Which, unfortunately, in this world, there is way more mundane than there is wonder. And at some point, people became hypnotized by this concept of money, so that they will forever push the mundane rather than the wonder. And I seem to be on an island with a lot of fellow islanders who can still remember when we used to wonder and dream and aspire and achieve things. And that's what this guy's tough as shit, dude. The fuck? He's having trouble. I've got no grenades. Equipped.
Still kicking? Jesus.
But there was a lot of people who went to college and went to university, and they just weren't capable of doing it. It was too hard. Like, a lot of people say university is the hardest thing you'll ever do in your life, and I disagree with that, because people live some pretty tough lives. And people, the struggle is real for some people. You know, everybody has their own personal struggles, and then there are the ones that are just like, Jesus Christ, dude. Somebody ripped your arms and legs off and you crawled using your chin through broken glass for 9 miles. That is a struggle, you know, that's some pretty crazy shit. But when I was at college and I was looking at this stuff, and I was thinking to myself, like, this guy's gonna fail. This guy's gonna straight up fail. One of them died. One of the members of my group.
Hey.
That guy got in debt and died. Like, what the fuck, dude? He never even got a chance to use his degree. And I know, of course, that happens, because it's life. But there were people there that literally came to party, to just dick around. And unfortunately, I had to make a shooting script out of one of these bastard scripts. It was horrible. It was the most blatant rip-off of Avatar you've ever heard, only immensely dull. Like, at least James Cameron had the common sense to, you know, give him a dick end and put Sigourney Weaver in. This guy just... They had the strangest names, dude. It was so bad. So fucking bad. I was groaning as well because I write. So when I read something that's of a poor quality, I'm just kind of like, oh, I'm dying inside. I want to just sit this guy aside and be like, this preposition doesn't work. What is this? This is a false tragedy that goes nowhere and achieves nothing, dude. What is your premise? Where are your character development? Where is this? Where is that? What are you doing? Poor guy. But essentially, it was... I also had to fucking do a storyboard for this. Good God. And I've still got that shit as well. And I gave the storyboard a good go. But it was just Armoured Cat people doing Armoured Cat things in this Armoured Cat civil war on this verdant green planet. And everybody had hover bikes and... Fucking hell. It was horrible. I probably made it sound so much better than it was. It was really bad. Okay. It's time to start grabbing stuff.
Yeah?
Grab that.
I'm on it.
But he was another example. This was a kid, right? We had to do 3ds Max because one of our courses was 3D.
The machine.
And I struggled with 3D. I found it very hard.
Bring that here.
Which is why video games astound me, because how they model in these games is wonderful. I wasn't very good at it, but towards the end I came to accept my lacking skills with it, and I came to an agreement where I was happy with what I've made and I was proud of it. But this guy was really good, or I perceived him to be really good.
Bring that here.
Because he'd done 3D before, and he'd used Maya, and he'd used all these other softwares, and it seemed like he knew what he was doing. And then he failed.
Get that.
So everybody watched this, because he designed one of these cat things that were in his fucking shitty script. He'd put it on this crazy speeder bike that all these cats were riding in his script.
Grab anything useful.
And he'd got him, like, going through this canyon, driving on it. It was like a police cat, I don't know. and there was a volcano and it was spewing particle effects and all this other stuff, and I'm over here fucking about with primary shapes. I'm putting balls on top of triangles and being like, yeah, it's a rocket, dude. Because I just couldn't do it. And he's doing all this crazy stuff and we're looking at it like, Jesus Christ, I'm going to fail. Look at this kid. And I passed and he failed. And admittedly, I did better than a couple of balls in a triangle, but not by much. This guy knew what he was doing. But what that tells you is, he completely didn't follow the brief. Because that's the only way he could fuck that up. Because he had the ability, he just didn't follow the brief. And we've all done it, and it happens. But he was a guy who ended up failing our year, and I think he had to do it again. And there were a lot of people like that. Like my group, when I first went, was about 50 people deep, and then in the final year, there was about 8 of us. What is this? Oh, it's Pikmin. Is this guy a serial killer? I want to save, because I don't want to ruin whatever's happening here, just in case. He's barehanded. Is he going to kill him barehanded? Come on, dude. I'm rooting for you. I can't see. He got her. He swept the leg, you see that? He karate kidded her. Oh, there's a straight. Oh, nice leg kick, dude. Look at him go. Australian punches for days. Yeah, that's not even an overhand right, is it? It's just a big looping, crazy Vandalay silver hook. Oh my goodness. That was perfectly timed. I'm going to help him now because I'm endeared by his martial arts. Bollocks, don't save, don't auto-save. Oh, thank you. But there's so many people, guys, that they paid a lot of money, we're talking thousands of pounds, thousands of dollars, to do something that you knew just by sitting down with them for a few minutes that they were incapable of doing. And to me, is that morally wrong? It kind of is. But that's how schools continue to be, you know, what they are, these academies, these places. And that's how teachers continue to feed their family, so I can't really get, you know, too much on it because it's like everything else. Just look, we could go forever, couldn't you? It's literally like everything else. Like my girlfriend is a teacher. She's doing a GDPE. There's a bunch of acronyms that does teaching, ability to teach things teacherly. But does that make her a bad person? No, you know. But undoubtedly there will be moments where she is teaching somebody, and it's just that thing of they don't have the capacity to do this.
That was close.
Who is this guy?
Thank you.
Are you a
Those people
killer?
deserved worse than death.
Why did they want you so badly?
A small disagreement. They objected to my hobby of collecting their heads. Let me repay you.
What did you have in mind?
A gift. Nothing more. If you visit my house again, look deep within my painting, Picnic for Stanley, and you will find my gratitude. You'll need this.
Cool. I want to kill this guy. I reckon he's some kind of killer anyway. Killer be killed, dude. But it is an interesting moral question, I think. Because I don't want to be the person who says anybody can't do anything, because I believe conversely of the opposite. But realistically, I appreciate there are things that I can't do.
As much as I appreciate your help.
Objectively, I could do them.
Hey there.
Thanks again.
Personally, I know I probably never will. Things like another language. I had a little bit of an affinity for Spanish in school, but you know, I when they introduced tenses, it got really difficult, and I started to struggle with it. And that's not even mentioning dialects in the different parts of Spain, where you say one word in one place, it means something different somewhere else. It just gets really fucking complicated. But it's one of those things where I have the ability to learn a language, and if I really put my attention to it, I know I definitely could. But I also know that when I was learning a language, it bored me fucking silly. And anything that bores me, I can't stick with it. I'm horrible at it. It's one of those things. If you don't keep my attention, I'm done. I'm straight up done. And I hate it. And there were times when I was at university, when I was at college, when I was at school, where I would be there, sat in a room, listening to a lecture, looking out the fucking window at a tree, or at something stupid in my own mind, a million miles away from what I should have been listening to, and then I'd catch myself doing it, and I'd be like, why are you doing this? This is going to make you a better person, this is going to help your future, this is going to do all these great things, and you're taking it for granted. Like, I even left university for a couple of years before I went so that I would actually want to do it, and I really wanted to do it. I was super stoked to do it. I was refreshed on learning, and I would get there and I would count the seconds until I could leave, because there were moments of it that just didn't fire me the right way, and I used to resent myself for feeling that way. But I literally was looking at the clock, and that sucks because I didn't want to be, but I was. Because I was always waiting to go do this, or go do this, or do this and this, and I hate that part of me. And I know that there's so many people that are just like that. So let's put the quest on for this gift so we can find it on the waypoint. No, second. It says it's... Oh, it's on this. It's just over there. But you always do it, don't you? You always say, like, tomorrow I'm gonna go. I'm gonna take notes. I'm gonna, be completely attentive. I'm not gonna fuck about. I'm not gonna make my friends laugh. I'm gonna be focused. I'm gonna, gonna get all this extra shit. I'm gonna do so much work. And then tomorrow comes, and you repeat the exact same mistakes you've been repeating every day of your life. Or you do it for me. Oh, hang on a sec. See you later. And it's life. And hopefully it'll be the thing that endears you into a career. But it could just so easily condemn you. And nobody knows until it happens.
Playing games at
He took his arm off. But it is funny that you seem to want to seek the thing that you had when you don't have it. It's almost a contrarian aspect of human life. Like, we want what we can't have. Like, how many times have you had homework and you've put it off until literally the last possible instant to do it? Well, I'm telling you now, you're going to have an instance in your life. It might come from a nephew, it might come from a cousin, it might come from a son or a daughter. But when they start getting homework, it's going to tickle a part of you that's like, wow, I wish I had homework. Or you get really interested in it, or really invested in figuring it out and helping them. And then you do the whole thing like, why the fuck wasn't I like this when I had homework? Yet, for some reason, I'm engaged now. I wanna know everything. Please teach me and tell me more. And that's happened to me with my nieces. Like, I hate maths. I was terrible at maths, but she comes back with a bit of maths homework. I'm like, I can fucking boss this. This is awesome. Let's do this. I know these sums. It's a very strange thing. A very strange thing.
I don't know. I kind of like these paintings. Feels good knowing someone out there is more miserable than me.
So this guy kills people, takes their heads, and then draws these crazy paintings. Wow. Do you think this is going to be a trap?
Find anything good on him?
I don't know. There's a spare cock and balls if you're horny. What am I doing? Wrong tab. Message to Jack, was it? Yeah.
Seth, it's me. I found out what happened to the scouts who went missing up near the old art gallery. They're dead, Seth. I'm looking at a goddamn painting of Cal's body. Oh, God. What the hell did I do to him?
I think you're about to find out.
Who the hell is there?
Admiring my collection. I'm afraid it's not complete yet. Soon, though.
Stay away from me, you psycho!
Yes. Just like that. Hold that expression on your face.
This guy's creepy, I like him. Is this a trap? Interesting. Gave us a crazy good knife. What if this guy... What if we can find this guy and kill him? See what he drops. He's a romantic.
Yeah, you're probably right. Gotta cut down on the jet, I guess.
Who's doing all the talk? There's somebody fucking having her head chin wag. I thought it was you.
Yo.
There's somebody in the bathroom. Okay, so
That'll
you're...
be worth it.
It will be worth it. Let me just drop this shit so you can pick it up like a good buckaroo. Bollocks. Why don't you get it, man? Just get it. Right. And then I want to put on... Okay, lady.
Point out what you need and I'll get right on it.
Grab
There you
that.
go.
No problem.
Get that.
I'll get it done.
Bring that here.
Will do.
Grab that.
I'm on it, Captain.
Get that.
Yep, I've got it.
The machine gun. Get it.
I'll get it done.
I also need to drop that. I'm curious to see if that knife's any good for her. Because it's 21 damage, but it's fast. Then again, she disarms people and it's hilarious. I wonder if she can dual wield. That'd be good. I mean, she's got 2 hands, for Christ's sake. Just give the girl 2 weapons. Capiche? Bollocks. There we go.
That's it.
How the hell do raiders live here if this place is essentially just Candyland for a murderer?
I'm gonna be jumping at the goddamn shadows next.
Yeah, me too. This place is filthy, dude. I don't care how much of a murderer you are. Do you really want to live in these shitty conditions? I know I wouldn't want to. Oh, this is where we saved his ass. They found him in, like, the tunnels, didn't they? So who was that talking? Are they upstairs? I reckon they're upstairs, so we've got to kill them. It's the polite thing to do. It is creepy, this house. It's making all kinds of cracks and lots of calling cards from that guy. Here we go. I've got full crates, so I might as well use one. I'm not hiding. I'm just killing. You. And your friends. So somebody's quite close because the caution, but they don't know where I am. Yeah. That guy got turned into a bloody lampshade. Ed Gein would be proud. And so would his departed mother. 0 chance to hit. That says 95, you dumb game. But in the Wasteland's a murderer. To someone. A lot of stuff to sell here. This is a place I'll remember though, because I know its name now. So I don't have to mark it on the map. To overcome my shitty memory issues. Oh, here we go. Clip Central. Wanted the light on. 15 bottle caps for that dexterous jump. And that landmine trap. He's got a big house, hasn't he? Why do the murderers always have the big houses? Bastards. I love a house like this, and I don't murder anybody. Wow. Just straight up on the wall, eh? It's very drippy, though. I couldn't do with a drippy house. I'd have to fix that shit. Okay. Okay, let's get out of here. Let's call this in. I wonder if we'll bump into Mr. Pickett again. Jesus Christ, game. GG. For some reason, this entire thread reminded me of an episode of Twilight Zone, where there was a guy who was an artist, but he was kind of like, his muse was death, so he would kill people and he would paint them dead, and he was using the money to pay for his wife's treatment of some kind of rare disease, and he thought he'd got enough to afford this specialist who could hopefully cure her, who was coming into town, but he needed to kill one more person to get the money right. So he kills them, gets the painting, gets the money, everything's all hunky-dory, and it turns out the person he killed was the specialist. So he'd killed his cure, which I thought was a nice bit of irony.